Hello, welcome to my Bayliner Cuddy Cabin transom repair video. To give it a name, this is a 1990 Bayliner Capri Cuddy Cabin with an outboard motor. And what I'm going to try to do is we're going to try to use the Seacast pourable transom filler on this transom. And the reason why I want to do this is because I really don't want to remove the whole top of the boat and dig everything out like Sawyer Security on YouTube did. I'll get another boat if I have to do that. I bought this boat a few years ago and I knew it had a bad transom in it, but I was able to tool around the lake without it taking on water for a few years, and I got it out the other day and it finally started taking on water. And I noticed that after pulling it out, our motor mounts started cracking around the bottom motor mount, so I know there's not much in there. I'm sure that plywood is pretty rotten. Somebody put a plate on the back of this to keep the water out, and it worked for a little while. So what I'm going to have to do is I got to, of course, remove the motor. Then I'm going to have to take the cap off of this transom here and dig down in there, see exactly what's rotten, how far back it is, and then I'm going to try to fill it up, like I said, with the Seacast pourable transom filler stuff. I figured I'd do this video because I've been all over online and I haven't seen any videos except for Sawyer Securities on YouTube with this specific type of transom. Most boats have a flat transom, and this boat has these extended platforms on the back, and so the transom is actually sitting in between these, and the transom is only about 2 feet wide. And I know that the transom connects to the stringers on the bottom inside. Hopefully I can dig out everything and fill it up with the Seacast stuff, and it'll be good to get around on the lake. I'm not going to do any water skiing or anything with this thing. So I guess we're going to start on this first. We're going to remove our engine and then start taking the cap off. Wish me luck on this venture. Alright, we're about to pull this motor off. I'm going to get down in this hole and see how this goes. I'm going to get down in here. Now, it's really hard to see, but the stringers come up to the transom plate. Here's the gas tank. I'm going to try to get this as good as we can. There's our 2 inner bolts. This is about the best shot of the stringer that I can get. It's a tall stringer, probably about a foot, maybe a foot and a half tall. Then you can see it goes back into our decks, which is way up in there. I hope this video takes a good picture of this. This middle part where the 2 bolts are is where we're actually going to be digging out from the top. Right there is the drain in the bilge. If you can see that down in there, it's kind of hard to see, I'll bet. Let me get the shot of this other stringer. The other stringer sitting behind these hoses. This is inside. Back up here a little bit. That's what they look like. And the stringer, of course, goes under the gas pump. But they're just two big pieces of wood, and this transom sits in between these two stringers, which is really strange because the transom does not go past that stringer. It actually sits in between these two stringers. It's about 2 foot wide, and according to the one other video I saw online on YouTube, it's basically made of 2 3/4 inch pieces of plywood and a 1/2 inch piece of plywood. And once they go, they go. There's the bottom again. Alright, we're still about to take this motor off. I'm in here getting the bolts now, and I just wanted to show everybody the stringer set up here. And that is inside the hull that's in the back of the boat. Okay, after a lot of grinding, we have finally reached the wood. And I've already put my finger on it, and it's pretty soft. Oh yeah, look at that. It even had an ant's nest in it. Yep. Coming out in nice pieces. Boy, I'm glad they've gotten away from plywood. This right side seems to be the worst. But I am pulling some stuff out. This stuff is just waterlogged. There goes an ant from the ant's nest. Now it looks like this transom actually has a side on it. So that's actually good. So hopefully this transom has been encased by itself. And I will be able to scrape all this out. Should be able to scrape all this out. And yeah, I got down to the plywood. So if I can do that, the Seacast should work. The stringers feel like they're a little hollow, but they are encased in fiberglass like this. I think that'll be enough structural rigidity for me to go tooling around the lake. Definitely not water skiing, but possibly tooling around on the lake. Oh yeah, this stuff's just falling apart. Yeah, you can see it. Mushy. Alright. Well, I'm going to start digging this out. Let's see what we got. I got that plate off the back. There's my holes. You can see where somebody actually cut it open and epoxied it or fiberglassed it and tried to put in square pieces behind the motor mount. Right there's where it cracked. I hope me taking this video helps somebody out there in YouTube land. Alright, we are digging it out. Look at that pile. Bucket O transom. So this is actually good that these sides are encased in fiberglass. It looks like this whole transom was actually encased in fiberglass. With it being encased in fiberglass, I will be able to pour the Seacast down into the form that the wood was sitting in. This is going to be a good thing. And it's not so big like a flat transomed boat that's going to take 10 gallons and $600 worth of Seacast. My only problem is down here where the hole is at, our drain plug. What's that going to look like on the inside? Is it a tube? I'm going to have to see. Once I get down to the bottom, I'm going to have to really look at it. I'm going to have to put several layers of fiberglass back here to patch the cracks, and then, you know, give it a good fiberglass job on the back just to strengthen it up. But I think this might work. Alright, after using several different implements to try to get this stuff out, I devised a little angle iron with a piece of fiberglass on it, made a little angle shovel. Seems to be bringing this stuff out. You got to break it up first and then bring it out with this. It's really helping. My worst fears have come true. I know you can't see down in here, but let's see if I can get a shot in here. This is down inside. Now what we're looking at is the wall actually stops. Really kind of hard to see. My worst fears have come true, basically. And what has happened is this fiberglass goes down the side and then it stops, and it's actually encased with the stringer, which is partially rotten. They didn't separate them. This is the one thing I was trying to figure out from Sawyer Security's videos and his Bayliner he was doing, was were those things separated and fiberglassed separately, or was the transom and the wood put in at the same time and fiberglassed together? Well, it was fiberglassed together. Of course, that's the quickest and cheapest way to do it, so I'm sure that's what they did. Oh, I know that's what they did. So, take the cheap route, you get a cheap boat. It's still a fun boat. I don't think I'm going to do any water skiing, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I am going to fill it up. I'm going to take out as much wood as I can and fill this whole thing up with a Seacast. With the fiberglass being together with the transom, it's not going to pour into it too much, but it will be part of the stringer. So it should give me enough support to at least tool around on the lake. I'm not going to be able to go water skiing with this, I know that. And I'll never really water ski anyway. But it should be enough for me to just get out on the lake. That is what I'm going to do, because I am not taking this whole top of this half of this boat off for a 20-something-year-old boat and redoing the whole thing. Sawyer, more power to you, buddy. I like your perseverance. Alright, while we let the air compressor catch up, we're actually taking off all of this caulking, marine caulking, and I'm getting it ready. So I'm going to do several layers of fiberglass and fix these broken spots before I pour the Seacast in. We're going to lay in, I'm probably going to glass this thing with at least a couple layers of fiberglass and resin, smooth it all down, and we're going to paint it at the end. Like I said with the Seacast, I'm going to go ahead and fill up the transom, fill up the empty stringers. Well, I actually found that the stringers are only half rotten, so I'm going to dig out as much as I can. I'm going to put a fan in it overnight and try to dry it out as best as I can. It's actually a good thing I got some stringer wood left in there. So hopefully the Seacast, I know it will not make a chemical bond to it, but with all the Seacast laying on top of it, my stringers are not rotten up in there. Hopefully this thing will fill up with Seacast, and it'll give me at least a solid enough transom where it'll hold water and it should last me a few years. Like I said, no water skiing.
Why are you kicking me? I'm doing this real fast.
Start wheeling. There is our bucket of mulch, which used to be a transom. After scraping it down, I'll tell you what, it is a very invaluable tool, this shop vac, trying to get the stuff out of the bottom of this transom. I definitely suggest using it. We've got the engine hanging, and we've got the transom holes cut out. We got that plate off and all the gobbledygook wire wheeled off, thanks to the trusty wire wheels. It's nighttime now, so hopefully we'll get a better look down into this transom. It's funny, there's a bottom piece of wood down in there, and I don't think it is the deck floor. It might be the floor where the gas tank is sitting on from where we were looking at inside. We're getting a much better look at the stringers and where the stringers actually connect into this. I'm going to try to back up and get a good 3D view of it. It's kind of hard here. As you see, this is all encased, like I said. Let's get this other side here. You see where the stringer slots went. Now, the back ends of my stringers have rotted out, but there is wood about 4 or 5 inches up in there. And you see where they're slotted into here. I really wanted to get a good look at this. This is the trouble I was having online, getting an actual view of how this was. They're like little caves that go into the stringers. I'm pretty doggone sure that I can get Seacast in there and stuff it in there way up to the dried stringers. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this open for about a week or two, order my Seacast, and I'm going to blow fans into this thing, and I'm going to let this thing dry. On the inside of where the gas tank sits, up in the hole, I'm actually going to drill a hole in each side of the top of these stringers, these empty stringers, to make sure that I get Seacast all the way up in there. And I'm going to push this stuff up in there with an angle piece that I made. And I'm going to load this thing up with Seacast. And I'm pretty sure that this is going to work. I just wanted to give everybody a good shot at these stringers here and how they're formed on the inside. And like I said, this video is pretty much for a pourable transom on a Bayliner Capri Cuddy Cabin. I think I am done for the night. I'm going to let this thing dry out for about a week. And we got everything out. I got to scrape off a little bit of this wood on the side. I got some of it scraped off, but you want to get it down to the fiberglass from what I've been reading on the Seacast website. So I think I'm going to go down there and scrape the heck out of it, shop vac it one more time, and let it dry out. And then, like I said, I'm going to glass this back a little bit, repaint it, and then it should be thoroughly solid with resin, and I don't think it'll go anywhere. We'll see you next time.